Why are governments attacking farmers? Let's watch a little bit of this, man. Let's see my man Peterson.
Policies that are being pursued don't even suffice to service the goals that are hypothetically trumpeted by the formulators of the policies themselves. It's a bloody miracle of stupidity and blindness.
I've given this so much thought because so many people have asked me why, why would they do this? It doesn't make sense. Explain it. Why would you come after the most hardworking sector, the most lucrative sector, the people that provide you with food? Why would you shut down your nuclear plants if you are to import electricity for, I don't know how much more the price? Why? And I think it was Carl Jung actually who said, if you can't understand someone's actions, you have to look at the consequences and infer the motive. And that's what I've done with all of this. If the consequences of their policies are that we become poorer, and, we, not they, obviously, but we, if we become poorer, we become more dependent on them. We basically essentially would starve if this is put through, and we don't have the financial means anymore to import our food. And, well, I don't know, God forbid a disaster happens, we've outsourced everything, we could be in real trouble. Well, if those are the consequences, then apparently that's the motive. Maybe I've become too cynical, but I find it very difficult to explain it any other way, because this is not a one-time mistake. These people are, the net zero scam, and I would really call it a scam, is something
it's
that
a criminal scam.
Yes,
it's
well,
a criminal
actually,
scam.
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just a scam.
It is criminal, and I think that it is of the worst type of injustice if a government and the people who are supposed to represent us, talking about democracy, liberal democracy and all, if those people turn their backs on their own population, and not just turn their backs, but actively, again, go against their interests and allow them essentially, if things go wrong.
If I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000,000 times more. The government is not here to save you. The government has their own interests at heart. That is 100%, bro. And I've been hearing about this story a lot, actually, in terms of just like the farmers, what they're doing to the farmers. I've been hearing my man Bill Gates, well, not even my man's, but I've been hearing Gates. Bill Gates has been buying up all this land. He's trying to regulate, he's really making a push for GMO food, lab generated food and stuff like that. I don't understand. So this whole thing, I've been seeing it. There's been farmers going on strike around the world in terms of just them not being able to produce regularly how they've been able to produce. So private farmers, private owned land, people with private owned land, those mom and pop shops, I think a little bit as well too. And I think even on a global scale in terms of the food that we get from our grocery stores as well too, there's definitely been some type of regulations. And this lady, I forgot what her name is, I guess from what they were saying on the screen, she's basically talking about oh, why is the government doing this? The government doesn't have our best interests at heart. That's very clear. Government is all about money and the elites. The little guys always get the short end of the stick.
To become poor and to starve. And I can't see, I see true evil behind these acts. I don't just see incompetence anymore.
It's worse than that, Ava. It's worse than that even, because I was speaking with someone the other day, one of my podcast guests, who said that their sampling has indicated that young people now think about climate apocalypse 3 or 4 times a day. Right? They're literally obsessed by it. And we know perfectly well that demoralizing insistence that all human striving is planet destroying, patriarchal ambition and has to be brought to a halt. Not only does it risk economic catastrophe, really right down to the fundamental level in the way that we've been describing, but it's also demoralized an entire generation of people and made them afraid, terrified, like Chicken Little, that the sky is falling, even when the IPCC itself, who are hypothetically the people that are on top of the appropriate data, have indicated nowhere in their documentation that we're facing anything approximating a true emergency. And so that does beg the question, as you said, just exactly what the hell's going on. And I think that your method of inferring the motivation is actually the case. I think the proximal cause is the fact that, just as in Nazi Germany, let's say, that any old mid-level bureaucrat could ratchet himself up the hierarchy by identifying, at least in principle, with the overarching Nazi ideology. It's absolutely the case with these bureaucrats who bear no immediate economic consequences for the idiocy of their actions. If they put forward this green agenda and they're celebrated by their idiot peers for doing so, that's definitely good in the immediate present for their career development and their, their self-aggrandizing moral proclamations of virtuous self. And in the aggregate, we get exactly this sort of thing.
All right, so I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the most interested in this, but I do understand its severity. Like, government just kind of having a monopoly. If I'm pretty sure I understand what that is. It's just like, at the end of the day, what is it? And I want to do a segment on speaking on the WEF as well too. So the World Economic Forum has this saying where they say, Claus, what's his name? Charles Claus or Charles Schwab, whatever his name is, interesting person. Where they say like, you will own nothing and be happy. That is their plan. That is their agenda. That's like their motto. You will own nothing. You being the civilian, you being the regular, everyday 9-to-5er, regular person. You will own nothing and be happy. They see a world where they are in control of everything, and then us, the little guy, owns nothing and will be content with it. And I think this falls under that category as well too. So if we're taking farmland, because agriculture is a real solid infrastructure, right? So agriculture, food, right? We all need food to survive. If governments are taking away private land from people that own it, small farmers, mom and pop shops, I should say, for their own gain, for their own benefit, and there's even, I have my beliefs in terms of what they're doing with the food, the water, all this shit is poisoning us. It's just like, how do we survive in this world? How do we make ends meet? This shit is rigged, bro. The system is rigged. I've been saying that for a long time. The system is rigged. It's not meant for you to win the game. That way, if you do win the game, and by winning, that means just like, putting yourself where you are not as dependent upon these institutions, you might be all right, but they make it very hard for you to do so.